Only one person.
Alright, so I went to go see Safe, which is another Jason Statham movie. It was actually pretty good. I mean, it started off with, you know, a Chinese girl, maybe about 7 years of age. Actually, they duly note that she is 7 years of age. And it starts off, she's being tortured for some numbers.
It started just like pirates.
Well, a young 7-year-old girl being tortured by Russian people, like Russian mafia businessmen, for some specific numbers that you don't even know what it's supposed to be for until like much later in the movie. So she's being tortured, and then it shows her walking the subway like 1 hour later. And she's walking the subway, just kind of like looking, trying to make sure that she's not being followed or anything. Then it cuts off to 1 year earlier, where she is back in school telling a teacher that he's got his math all wrong and completely fixes everything, saying that this is the only possible answer that it could have.
Seriously, they had to have a math prodigy and they made it an Asian girl?
Chinese, I know.
Chinese and mathematics.
I know, I mean, that's like...
Go together like
it's like if they needed someone that was really good at cutting lawns and they made it a Mexican girl.
Right. It's so stereotypical. I mean, what are you supposed to do? So...
Also, teachers love that student.
So about a couple weeks after that, she gets told by her principal, so to say, that she's being transferred to a new school. But all of a sudden, she's walking down the street with her friends, and she gets taken away by Chinese mafia businessmen who are threatening her that they'll kill her parents. Well, her mother, who is dying, already dying. And if she doesn't do what they say, that they're just gonna kill her. So she ends up doing it, and she just, like, she can memorize any form of numbers whatsoever, whether it's statistics, like on the, what's that board with just the tiles that slide across called?
Board? Tiles that slide across?
It's like it's just like a hollow wooden stand with wires going across, and there's
abacus?
Yeah, an abacus.
Uh-huh.
And he just like completely screws up the abacus, and she goes over to it and just rechanges it back to exactly what it was.
And they make the Asian math prodigy use an abacus.
I know. Well, he's so old-fashioned. Like, don't use any computers or things like that because they can leave trails and stuff. So.
And then in the end, someone hacked his abacus.
Then all of a sudden, it cuts to Jason Statham in a cage fight, MMA, and then instantly into the hospital, watching or just looking at some guy who is like extremely injured with the injured man's mother just trying to beat the shit out of Jason, saying, "Get the fuck out of here, you don't deserve to be here." And
is it the guy he was fighting?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It was the guy he was fighting, but he only hit him once.
He hit Jason Statham, he destroys everything he touches!
He has the punch of death.
The only person who can defeat him is Chuck Norris.
His voice is even a punch.
No, well,
Deep and raspy.
Chuck Norris can defeat Jet Li, so...
Actually, no. Jet Li literally killed Chuck Norris in a movie.
No, that was Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee.
Who gives a fuck? They're all
racist.
Racist?
Different spelling.
Hey.
Different Asian.
I am not
every Asian is Bruce Lee.
Right.
Some were Jackie Chan.
Yeah.
Alright. So I mean, there were a lot of fight scenes in the movie.
Oh, really?
Couple of them. Well, yeah. I mean, it's Jason Statham.
How was the fight choreography? Was it well constructed?
It was well constructed. It actually looked like you were there watching everything go down.
Okay, did they do the shaky cam bullshit, or did they do like a stable camera?
It was a bit shaky, but at times it was stable.
Okay.
So, I mean, it wasn't that bad. Okay. It was a rated R movie, so they did get to show a lot of what, should have been showed. A lot of killing, shooting people in the head.
We got that in a PG movie.
Shooting people just directly in the head. Completely kicking the shit out of someone, then walking right over and shooting them in the back. Just because they're losing money. Chinese people. Of course. Typical.
All Chinese people are criminals and math geniuses. I learned everything I need to know from Jason Statham movies.
Right. So, Jason Statham doesn't even find... his character's name is Luke.
What?
Luke, right? So...
Did he save the Force?
No. So... He doesn't even meet the Chinese girl until, like, halfway through the movie, but, like, what really happens is, like, okay, I'm totally going Valley Girl here.
It's like,
with all the...
Totally.
With all the likes I'm doing,
this movie is ridiculous.
He's being tortured by the Russians because he made them lose money. He was supposed to go down in the second round of the fight, but one punch apparently took the guy out. He was a fucking weak ass bitch anyway.
It's Jason Statham. He could punch out Superman.
He probably could.
That's probably his next movie.
That would be amazing. Him as Superman.
Actually, I specifically meant Dean Cain. He could punch out Dean Cain.
Okay.
Still, Superman. Statham as Superman. Come on. How awesome would that be?
Statham versus Superman. And he's not even playing a character. He's just playing Jason Statham.
So
he's like walking to a movie shoot and
he's being not necessarily tortured, but well, I mean, I guess you could call it torture because any friend he knows, any relative he has, anybody he even talks to for a couple minutes and tries to help, they're gonna kill. Just to make him so depressed and so self-distraught that he's gonna kill himself. And they're even placing bets on when he's going to kill himself. Well,
does he?
No.
Aww.
He's about to.
He kills everyone else instead.
He's about to. He goes into a subway station after coming out of a little shack where another person dies because he gave him...
Is there a scene without death? I feel like every scene, someone dies.
Well, there's one scene where he goes to the bathroom.
Yeah, and someone dies!
Elvis!
Well,
there's
one scene he goes to the bathroom.
Holy crap, I was right.
Does someone die?
He immediately walks out with a whole bunch of Russians pointing guns at him. And his wife is dead.
What?
So there is death.
The lead there, man.
There is death, but after coming out of a shack or a home, not a home, but a place where homeless people can go to sleep. I can't remember.
Homeless shelter.
A shelter. After coming out of a shelter, he helped a man who had like some extremely bad foot disease. He gave him his shoes. Next morning, his throat was slit. So he walks out.
Bad shoes.
Well, he was wearing penny toppers.
They were owned by the Wicked Witch.
So, aside from that, he heads out to the subway where he's about to kill himself, and then notices the little girl, who's kind of like looking back, watching around, making sure she's not being followed, because it cuts back to the Russian men who took her and she ends up escaping due to the cops trying to bust down their door. So, in all of the confusion, she's running away. She also ends up going to the same exact subway station. Coincidence? I think not.
Script plot.
Right. So...
What?
I don't know.
Script plot?
That's a script plot.
Oh,
Script plot.
Yeah.
that also doesn't make sense.
So...
Plot hole.
Yeah. No.
Script work needed.
No.
Any of these would have worked.
The weird thing is, they're nowhere even in the same area. I mean, they're
in Chicago. It makes no sense.
No, they're in New York. They're in New York.
And they met at the same subway?
Yeah.
Well, come on. There's
Okay,
like 8 people that live in New York, so.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, she's out in Chinatown, and he's out in Brooklyn. Those are in 2 different areas in New York. I mean, I've been to New York City myself. I know where those areas are. So, I know that there is no way that that could have happened. But they meet up in the area, so she ends up getting on the subway train and trying to get to the front of the car because the Russians found her and are moving up towards her. Jason ends up missing the train, but starts running after it, catching onto the back of the train just as it leaves, and he climbs his way through. So by the time the Russians are about to get her, he just starts kicking all of their asses in front of the civilians and just like pulls out a gun to the final guy, shoots him, everyone screams, no duh, he had it coming. That's the only thing he says, don't worry, he had it coming.
Oh, well.
Oh, I feel safe now.
Nice.
And then all of the civilians were just like, okay.
What
The fuck?
It's New York.
This is a
Right,
this is the
it's
fifth shooting
New
I've seen
York.
today. Whatever.
So, a whole lot of fight scenes ensue. He ends up getting the code from her, which it turns out to be, which we find out just immediately after, that those numbers are apparently a code to a safe. Ooh. That has $30 million.
Woo.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah.
Only 30 million.
Only $30 million.
What a rip.
Yeah.
Like, why go through the trouble of all this killing and bathroom problems?
Dude, it's $30 million. Would you kill for $30 million?
I still want my own lone bathroom
Maybe one
time.
person, but
So,
a lot of people and kidnapping an Asian child? No.
well, kidnapping an Asian
It's like
child
really
who can
boring.
memorize anything.
Why not just
That
do
is
what I do
every
and write
Asian
the
child.
code on your hand and trust me?
Because,
Done!
Who needs computers?
originally, it's just a whole series of numbers, like on a piece of paper, and you have to decipher it to figure out what the code is. She memorized it and found a couple things weird about it. All the numbers ended either in 3 or 7, which confused her because she didn't really understand why. So they ended up getting the code and checking it out. And Jason figured it out. He found out what the code was. So, all of this stuff happens. Huge fight scene in the hotel that they're in. A lot of
another
deaths. Fucking awesome. Bit shaky in the fight scenes, but every now and again, it's good. I mean, all of a sudden,
Shakier or less shaky than the Bourne movies?
less shaky than the Bourne movies.
Okay.
Now, was it like shaky realistic? Like in a fight, it would be shaky?
Yeah.
Through the adrenaline? Okay, alright. So
Shaky
that's
realistic.
understandable.
I mean, it's better than the Hunger Games.
Oh, God.
Anything's
That
better
was
than the
just
Hunger
like
Games.
Shaky Parkinson's. They shouldn't have gotten the cameraman with Parkinson's.
Right.
They're going for it.
Alright, that's enough. Stop. I'm gonna kick your ass, Todd.
He just learned Jason Statham's moves.
I learned how to stab somebody from a pirate movie.
But you have a
that going
sword.
in.
So, fucking kick ass, and oh my god. They end up getting the money.
Who gets the money?
Jason.
Jason Statham. Okay.
But
And he just says, "See ya, little Asian girl," and walks off.
no. He actually rescues the little Asian girl.
Aw.
And
Would've been a better
you know,
ending.
her father ran off when she was like 3, and she got an adopted father who was a pure Chinese businessman working for the evil Chinese syndicate people, and he nearly kills her anyway because you know she's about to go into enemy hands. So then all of a sudden later on in the movie, he's like, you know, I'm the only one who really loves you, right? And I'm the only one who really ever will.
Whoa.
Wait, Jason Statham says this?
No,
I love you.
The father.
Her adopted
Okay.
I want you to be
father.
my children.
Okay, I thought
How
you were leading up
creepy
to
would
Jason
that
Statham
be?
Gets a new pet Asian girl.
So,
I smell sequel.
This one's a wacky romantic comedy.
so in the
Here's
end,
Jason Statham. She's 7 years old.
in the end, he ends up getting both the money. I mean, there were 2 saves. There was one with $30 million. And there was one with the CD that was worth $30 million. I mean, this CD had
It was the
names.
original cut of the White Album.
No, I mean, this CD had names and addresses of every illegal running group in America.
They just keep those on file. You know, no one's gonna break into this safe. Nah.
Well, no, it's a safe that you can't break into.
Unless you have an Asian child.
Which there's what, like a lot of. Let's go to China. Is anyone going to give me their child? Here you go.
A CD that's worth $30 million. He gets all 3 of them. He gives 50 grand away to the cop who helped him get it.
Dude, he got 30 million and he gave him 50 grand?
What the fuck?
Right. Well, the 30 million is supposed to go to the Chinese man anyway. So, ending up at the end of the movie, he ends up giving the money to the Chinese man, but leaving a note with it saying, the little girl wrote the note saying, do not try to follow us. I know every number of every account you own of all of your clients, and if you try to go with us, I will bring you down to nothing.
So wait, Jason Statham does keep the little girl?
Yeah, Jason keeps the little girl.
Jason Statham.
So,
Sequel, man, sequel. I love it. Wacky comedy.
He's like, I don't think I'd be good enough to be your father. But she's like, I don't want another father. I've had too many. Could you be my friend?
Oh!
And he's like,
Kill me.
Yeah, I could do that. I found a nice gifted boarding school, or not boarding, a school for the gifted out in Seattle. And you're really gonna like it. I mean, that is if you like trees.
What?
What?
Is that
Lost
some
me.
stereotype about Seattle I don't know?
If there's one thing you know about Seattle, it's not the grunge scene, not the coffee, it's their trees.
Right. I mean, that's what I was thinking. Like, wait, what? Trees?
Oh, tell me it was Xavier's School for the Gifted.
No.
Aww.
It would have been hilarious. It was just some
Like
Last
maybe
scene.
4.
Last
I
scene,
fucking
Patrick
hate
Stewart comes out on a wheelchair.
You're one of us!
We're building a
Hugh
tree.
Jackman just standing behind him like,
So,
Fuck off.
for its action-packed adventure, Jason Statham getting the shit kicked out of him a couple times, but only because he's not fighting back, but then kicking everyone else's ass outright, I'd have to give it a 7. For the movie in general, I'd have to give it a 7.375. And if you don't know what that is, it's 7 3/8. Yes, I went into fractions.
It's okay. I
we
gave
got
the last movie a
denominators up
pie.
in here.
Numerators
Rada,
and
rada.
denominators.
Bitch.
Woo.
All right, so